anti-cancer shopping list. Come shopping with me. All right, so just come back from the store, and I'm really focusing this month because it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Breast Cancer Prevention, which should be not just this month in October, it should be every single day of the year, obviously. And again, not just breast cancer prevention, but lowering risk of all diseases, but really specifically for post-menopausal women, obviously our risk goes up, and really zeroing in on the foods that I shop for specifically to lower risk of breast cancer. So I want to go through this quickly today, what I bought at the store. So let's see what I came back with. Okay, number one on my list is cruciferous vegetables. So there are a number of studies that show, and in fact there's one study in particular that shows I think it's a 44% decrease of breast cancer occurrence in women who ate just one serving of cruciferous veggies every single day. Well, I eat a lot more than just one serving. I get cruciferous veggies in every which way I can. So kale is obviously a cruciferous veggie. I always get lots of different kinds of cruciferous veggies. I've got kale, cabbage. Oh my gosh, I found this little cabbage today. Look, it's like a little baby cabbage. It's so cute. I love cabbage. So cabbage, kale, and the other one, and this is on my weekly list every single week, is broccoli. And actually, I like tender stem, like baby broccoli. So that's always top of my list top of my anti-cancer list. One little tip with cruciferous veggies is if you chop them and leave them and then eat them or cook them, then the pause between chopping and cooking or consuming releases more and more of this compound called sulforaphane, which is the anti-cancer, or one of the anti-cancer compounds. So you want more and more of this sulforaphane release. So always think chop, pause, and then eat or cook, which is really easy because I make a lot of kale salads, and to soften up the kale, I strip the kale off the stem, then I chop it quite finely, and then I massage it with some lemon juice because it breaks down the really tough fibers. And then I might put that in a container and keep it there in my fridge for 2 or 3 days for meal prep for salads for the week. And then if I'm doing something like a cabbage, again, often I shred cabbage in salads. I love raw cabbage, but I also like cooked cabbage. So I'll just cook it and, chop it, leave it for a while, at least 20 minutes, and then cook it. And with broccoli, what I like to do is I love to chop the stalks. So I use every part of the broccoli, and so many of the nutrients in the stalks. Don't throw the stalks away. So you want to chop those really finely. And if you don't want to eat the stalks as part of your meal, keep them, because you can throw them into a soup, and they're absolutely delicious in a soup. You can make a lovely broccoli and pea soup or something and just use the stalks, which has all those nutrients in it. So that's top of the list. Next up is, and I'm sort of almost going in order of importance of my list, is berries. Okay, so organic frozen berries. And oftentimes, why I say frozen, here we go, there's my giant bag. Oftentimes, frozen berries are actually healthier. They have more antioxidants in them than fresh berries because they are frozen, flash frozen at their peak ripeness, and all those antioxidants that are in the cell wall stay intact. So I always buy organic berries, big bags of organic. These are organic wild blueberries. They play a big part in my diet, but I also like organic frozen other berries as well, and I actually love organic strawberries. So I make a smoothie, or I'll do an oatmeal, but I'll eat some kind of frozen berry in my food, smoothie or oatmeal, every single day. And I like to change up my berries. Sometimes I'll do blackberries. I look in the store for organic berries that are sometimes they're on sale. Sometimes what I do in the summer months, when the blueberries, for instance, are really in season and they're much, much cheaper, If they look really, really fresh, I will buy them and I will freeze them myself. So either way, my freezer is full of organic berries, and I hope yours is too. Next up is soy products. So soy has been found, a lot of people don't realize this, so there's a lot of confusion with soy, and I'm going to pop a couple of studies in the description to this video, because I think it's really important for you to understand the science and to really understand that soy is actually a breast cancer prevention, anti-breast cancer superfood. Soy is. And some women think it's the opposite, but that has been debunked and it is not true. So I am going to put some studies underneath. Please, if you still have any confusion about soy, this is so important. Go look at those studies, because I'm going to take the trouble to put 2 or 3 in there for you to look at. So soy, organic soy or non-GMO soy. Most soy that is produced for human consumption, not animal consumption, but human consumption, is going to be non-GMO. So that's the good news. Organic is even better. You can't always get organic. I like edamame beans, love edamame beans. So I get them either in their pods, because they're sort of fun to eat, or shelled, and I throw them on salad. And on this one here, there's that little sign at the bottom, which is the non-GMO verified sign. The other thing that I get a lot of is high protein tofu. So this is organic, and I love high protein tofu, because one of the foods that is not on my grocery store list and is not in my kitchen, fridge, pantry, anywhere, is meat. Because meat, if you are really zeroing in and on breast cancer prevention, it's probably not a good idea to include meat of any kind in your diet. Not just processed meat and red meat, but chicken as well. There are many reasons why. So that's not something that I eat for that very reason. Now I know what I do know and understand. So I'm always looking for meat alternatives where I can get plenty of protein into my diet, and so can my husband as well. So soy is, high protein tofu is one of the foods we eat. Edamame beans, unsweetened organic soy milk, etc. 2 to 3 servings a day is what you want to look for. I also look for, because I don't eat meat and we don't have meat in the house for many, many reasons, and one of them is because, in terms of preventing cancer, it's not a food, particularly as women, that we want to be eating. I also look for other forms of protein, lots of different forms of protein, because as a board certified nutritionist, it's so important that particularly women over 50 get enough protein. That's one of the problems that I see with a lot of plant-based diets or sort of vegan diets. I always say, don't get caught up with the word vegan, because vegan diets can be very, very unhealthy. So that's not what we're looking for. They can be very processed, full of processed foods and refined foods and sugars and all the crap in there. But a whole food plant-based diet needs to be very, very well planned. And for women over 50, and certainly women over 60, you need to be getting plenty of high quality protein. So this is another product that I really like. It's a soy-free tofu, and it's actually made out of fava beans, and it's really delicious. So I'm looking for all of these, other forms of sort of meat alternatives, as it were. But I don't like most of the meat and cheese alternatives, because they're very high in fat, saturated fat, and sodium. So I'm really, really careful about what I buy in terms of, high quality plant-based protein. All right, so let's go on. Okay, next on the list is flaxseed. So I often get it from the bulk bins. Some stores have bulk bins, or you can get it from almost every single store now. You do need to buy it either ground, this is ground, or you can buy the whole seeds if you're going to pulverize them in a smoothie. So if you're going to just throw them in a Vitamix or a high-speed blender, it's fine. Don't eat, though, whole flax seeds, because they just go in one end and out the other. And it's the lignans in the flax. And I'm going to put another study underneath this, in the description to this video as well, showing the connection between flaxseed and breast cancer prevention. So this is always on my shopping list, is flaxseed. I tend to buy it ground because it's just easy and I can sprinkle it on other things too. And I keep it in the fridge, but if I'm buying it in bulk, more so than this, I'll get through this really quickly, then I keep it in the freezer. And in fact, I keep most of my nuts and seeds in the freezer to preserve their freshness so that they don't go rancid, because remember, all seeds and nuts contain oil, and oil does go rancid over time, so it's better to keep it in the freezer. All right, let's see what else is on my list here. Oh, so I'm always buying different plant-based milks because dairy is not on my shopping list for a number of reasons. Most dairy, certainly butter and a lot of milks, can be very high in saturated fat, but there's too much in dairy products that make it a no for me and for my clients in terms of lowering risk of chronic disease. And one of those diseases is breast cancer. So we don't do meat and we don't do dairy. So there is, you want to look carefully for your plant-based milks because some of them can contain a lot of additives and stuff that you don't want in there. So I very often have it's in the fridge over there, a plant-based, what am I trying to say, organic unsweetened soy milk. This is a brand that I really like called Plant Strong, and Whole Foods sells this brand, or you can find it online if you live in North America. And I really like this one because they have, this one is an oat and walnut milk, and they have almond, and they have various different kinds. But what I really like about it is that it's fortified with 300, I think it's milligrams of calcium, which is really, really great. Yeah, 300 milligrams of calcium, because you want that calcium, again, particularly as a post-menopausal woman. But it's one of the few brands that contains the calcium and doesn't have added oil. So Plant Strong is a really, really great brand. Okay, we are almost there. Also on my list is matcha tea. So this is on the sort of anti-breast cancer shopping list. And green tea, again, I'm going to put a study, lots of studies for you to get your teeth into in the description to this video. Because rather than me taking so long to explain these studies to you, I'm just going to put them under and you can just read them for yourself. But there's a lot of evidence to show how specifically the catechins in green tea can be anti-cancerous, particularly in terms of breast cancer. So I do recommend drinking 2 to 3 cups of green tea a day. And I really love matcha tea. I like matcha, the green powder. As long as it's in the coffee shops, they mix it with all this sugar and junk, so don't get it there. Make your own. Buy a really high quality organic one and make it at home. It's going to be less expensive anyway. And then you can just have it just green, or you can add a beautiful plant-based milk to it, steamed plant-based milk. You can have it hot, you can have it cold. But it's the catechins in and other compounds, but specifically, there's one specific catechin which there's this correlation between how it can really be cancer in terms of specifically breast cancer. So drink your matcha tea. And then what else have we got? Sugar. So I don't ever eat sugar. It is, as I'm going through this list, obviously I'm telling you the top things that are on my anti-cancer grocery store list, but I'm also peppering in things that are absolutely not ever on my list or in my kitchen. I've already said meat, I've already said dairy, and the final thing that I'm popping in here is sugar. So I don't eat any kind of refined sugar whatsoever, and even the sugars that have a sort of health halo on them, like coconut sugar, or there's 100 different names for sugar, by the way, on different labels, and many of them are super, super misleading because it makes it seem like it's healthy, like even like raw cane juice, dehydrated cane juice, that's sugar. but I don't eat sugar. Sugar can be inflammatory and a lot of other issues as well, and so I don't recommend to my clients that they have sugar. And even certainly my clients who are on a weight loss journey, a weight release journey, and those who are pre-diabetic and diabetic, even sweeteners like maple syrup and honey and coconut nectar or whatever it is, anything that can spike your blood sugar, we stay away from. So I always buy dates, and I buy a lot of dates. I buy medjool dates, and we use dates in pretty much everything. I pop them in my smoothies. When I'm baking, I use dates. I use them. Oh, did I get some? Please tell me I did. Oh, yes, because I was out. And I buy whole dates, and I also buy date syrup, which is really useful. And you can make things like a beautiful, hot chocolate, for instance, with raw cacao powder, a steamed plant-based milk, and some date syrup, and a little sprinkling of cinnamon. Delicious. So that's it. I could go on and on. I could show you 50 different things that are on my grocery store list, but I just wanted to give you the top line items that really you want to focus on as part of your anti-cancer food protocol, because you probably have heard, but it is absolutely true, that even if you are predisposed towards breast cancer, lifestyle changes and particularly nutrition and diet can really, really go a long way in terms of prevention of getting breast cancer in the first place, and prevention of recurrence if you are a breast cancer thriver. So please, if you are worried about that, if it's, you're genetically predisposed, it's in your family, if you're post-menopausal, which is when your risk goes up, if you are a breast cancer thriver, please pay attention to what you eat. And a lot of doctors don't talk about this, a lot of oncologists don't talk about it, but it's so powerful. This is where nutrition really can be medicine. So make your shopping list, and I'll put the items on the shopping list in the description to this video too. Go shopping and try and make sure that you eat a little bit of these foods every single day, not just a couple of times a week. You can put a lot of this in your smoothie. Literally, you can put kale in your smoothie. You can put berries in your smoothie. You can put flaxseed in your smoothie. You could put a teaspoon of matcha tea in your smoothie. You could put some organic silken tofu. So you could literally put dates. You could put almost everything that I've got here in a smoothie. So make sure that you go buy these foods, you make your list, you shop for them, you prep them, and you eat them every single day. I'll see you next time.